Hopefully, your off season is going well if you're a big fan of junior hockey. And at the time of recording, we just found out that the OHL preseason will get underway on Friday, August 29th. So book your calendars. The hockey season is going to be here before you know it. But in the meantime, let's continue our season by season OHL history series. We've reached the 2014-2015 OHL season. Season number 35 of the Ontario Hockey League, which got underway in 1980-81. And we've done a summary of each season since then, and right up until this point. So let's dive into it. Starting off with the regular season standings in the West Division, it would be the Sioux Greyhounds leading the way with a record of 54-12-0-2, 110 points. What a season. And it was quite the gap between first and second in the West Division, as second would be the Sarnia Sting with a record of 29-32-4-3, 65 points. What a difference between first and second in the West Division. The Saginaw Spirit, they would take third with a record of 29-36-2-1 for 61 points. Missing the playoffs would be the Plymouth Whalers, 23-38-5-2 is their record for 53 points. While the Windsor Spitfires also missing the playoffs with a record of 24-42-2 for 52 points. In the Midwest Division, the Erie Otters just continue to have solid seasons. They would finish first in the Midwest with a record of 50-14-2-2, 104 points. Remember, this is the Connor McDavid era. So the Erie Otters, they were pretty deep and in a very tough Midwest division. Second would be the London Knights, 40-24-1-3 for 84 points. The Guelph Storm, they finished third with a record of 38-26-2-2 for 80 points. The Owen Sound Attack, fourth with a record of 35-24-2-7 for 79 points. And the Kitchener Rangers, fifth, but they're back in the playoffs with a record of 32-26-3-7 for 74 points. Over in the Eastern Conference, we start with the Central Division. The Barrie Colts, they would lead the way with a record of 41-24-1-2 for 85 points. Second in the division, the North Bay Battalion, 37-26-5 for 85 points. The Niagara Ice Dogs, they would finish third with a record of 37-27-2-2 for 78 points. While the Mississauga Steelheads missing the playoffs with a record of 25-42-1, 53 points. While the Sudbury Wolves, it was a struggle. They would miss the playoffs with a record of 12-54-1-1, 26 points. And then in the East Division, the Oshawa Generals, they led the way with a record of 51-11-2-4, 108 points. Second would be the Ottawa 67s, 38-25-4-1 for 81 points. The Kingston Frontenacs, third with a record of 32-28-5-3 for 72 points. While the Belleville Bulls, fourth with a record of 27-33-3-5, 62 points. And fifth, but making the playoffs, would be the Peterborough Petes with a record of 26-36-1-5 for 58 points. Now, the two seasons prior to this, the Ottawa 67s were actually moved out of TD Place due to arena upgrades. Lansdowne Field was getting a makeover, and TD Place showing its age. They were playing out at the Canadian Tire Centre in Canada for 2 seasons. So this year they would return to TD Place, and it's actually has taken a little bit for Ottawa to get the fans back to what we saw before the renovations. Now, in the return, Brian Kilray would coach one more game for the Ottawa 67s as he celebrated his 80th birthday, making him the oldest coach in hockey history. And he would actually earn career win 1,194, and that would be against the Mississauga Steelheads. So a little trivia there for you. Now, the Niagara Ice Dogs, they would move into their brand new arena, the Meridian Center, making an end to the Jack Gaycliffe Arena. And man, the Jack was one of my favorite rinks in the OHL. I know it's not your OHL standard. It's a junior B surface. The arena built in the 1930s, but it was very intimate and very classic. Those are the things that stand out. Plus, Niagara was the first team I covered in the OHL when they joined the league in 07-08. So bittersweet seeing them move on, but the Meridian Center, one of the top-notch facilities right now in the Ontario Hockey League. At the beginning of the season, though, Mark Hunter, he announced that he was stepping down as general manager of the London Knights, and that's because he took the position of director of player personnel with the Toronto Maple Leafs. So Dale Hunter left for a season to join the Washington Capitals as a head coach, and now Mark Hunter getting his shot with the Toronto Maple Leafs. After years of talks about wanting upgrades at the arena in Belleville at the Yardman, the Bulls found themselves in the middle of a hockey shuffle, and this caught some by surprise as Michael Andlauer would purchase the Belleville Bulls and move them to Hamilton as the American Hockey League Hamilton Bulldogs were being moved to St. John's to become the Ice Caps, as the Montreal Canadiens moving their AHL affiliate. And for Michael Andlauer, wanting a team at the First Ontario Centre, saw that the Belleville Bulls were available and purchased the team and moved them. So it was a quick move, and it caught, like I said, some hockey fans off guard, but really with the politics in the city of Belleville not moving forward with renovations or a new arena, it seemed as though the Bulls, they were vulnerable, and Michael Andlauer purchasing the team and moving them to Hamilton. Now the Plymouth Whalers, they were another team that was on the verge of moving, as Peter Karmanos, the longtime owner of the Plymouth Whalers, and before that they were the Detroit Whalers, the Detroit Junior Red Wings, and Detroit Ambassadors. He decided it was time to sell his junior hockey team. He first sold CompuWare Arena to USA Hockey, and that's now where the United States National Development Program plays out of. So that meant the junior hockey club needed a new home. There was some talk that the Whalers would move to Chatham, Ontario, but because of the older arena there, it wasn't a solid fit. There was also talk about Brantford at the time, but they settled on selling the team to Flint and would become the Firebirds in the offseason. The Sioux Greyhounds, they would actually set a franchise record in points this season, and they would win the Hamilton Spectator Trophy. But at the end, Sheldon Keefe, he would leave for the Toronto Marlies to become their next head coach. So a little bittersweet here too, as Sheldon Keefe and Kyle Dubas turning this organization around, and the Sioux Greyhounds would find themselves at the top of the Ontario Hockey League standings in 2014-2015. Now, the Sarnia Sting, they also announced a change in ownership at the end of this regular season, as the Sorelli brothers, they're the ones that moved the team from Newmarket to Sarnia in the early 1990s, and at this point announced that they were selling the team to David Legwand and Darian Hatcher, former NHLers. Windsor Spitfires owner and coach, he would also leave again. This is Bob Bugner we're talking about. He actually became the new assistant coach of the San Jose Sharks and would also join Pete DeBoer, who was with the Sharks organization at the time. So a lot of change in 2014, 2015. I kind of feel like this was one of those pivotal seasons where a lot happened and has really shaped what the Ontario Hockey League looks like today. Now, looking at your top scorers from the 2014-2015 season, leading the way was Dylan Strome of the Erie Otters. He had 45 goals, 84 assists, 129 points. Second in scoring, Mitch Marner of the London Knights, 44 goals, 82 assists, 126 points. Connor McDavid was third in scoring, 44 goals, 76 assists, 120 points. Joseph Blandisi of the Barrie Colts was fourth in scoring, 52 goals, 60 assists, 112 points. Christian Dvorak of the London Knights is next in scoring, 41 goals, 68 assists, 109 points. Kevin LeBanc of the Barrie Colts, 31 goals, 76 assists, 107 points. Alex DeBrincat of the Erie Otters, he had 51 goals, 53 assists, 104 points. Andrew Mangiapane, he was eighth in scoring from the Barrie Colts, 43 goals, 61 assists, 104 points. Max Domi, ninth in scoring, 32 goals, 70 assists, 102 points. And Tyler Bertuzzi, 10th in scoring from the Guelph Storm, 43 goals, 55 assists, 98 points. Looking at the playoff bracket, we'll start with the Western Conference. The Sioux Greyhounds, they had no issues in the opening round as they would complete the series sweep of the Saginaw Spirit. While the Erie Otters, they would need 5 games to take care of the Sarnia Sting. The London Knights and Kitchener Rangers renewed their rivalry in the opening round, but the Knights, they would take that series in 6 games. While the Guelph Storm, they would defeat the Owen Sound Attack in 5 games. In the Eastern Conference, the Oshawa Generals and Peterborough Petes, they would go at it, and it would be the Generals taking that series in 5 games. The Barrie Colts, they would eliminate the Belleville Bulls in 4 straight games, and that would end the Bulls organization in the OHL before their move to Hamilton. Meanwhile, the North Bay Battalion complete the series sweep of the Kingston Frontenacs, and the Niagara Ice Dogs upset the Ottawa 67s in the opening round in 6 games. In the second round of the playoffs, the Sioux Greyhounds, no problems with the Guelph Storm. They would complete the series sweep, while the Erie Otters also sweeping the London Knights. Over in the Eastern Conference, the Oshawa Generals, they would take out the Niagara Ice Dogs in 5 games, while the North Bay Battalion upset the Barrie Colts in 5 games. For the conference final, starting off in the West, Sault Ste. Marie against the Erie Otters, and it would be Erie taking out the Greyhounds in 6 games. And in the Eastern Conference final, the Oshawa Generals, it was a rematch against North Bay from the year prior. but this time to be the Generals on top, winning this series in 6 games. So for the J Ross Robertson Cup, we would have the Oshawa Generals and Erie Otters. And a lot of people were picking Erie going into the series with Connor McDavid and company, but it'd be the Generals winning this series in 5 games. And with this championship win, the Oshawa Generals get their 13th J Ross Robertson Cup. And to note, this is also the first Eastern Conference team to win an OHL championship in 9 years. And that's why a lot of people saying that the Western Conference is the much stronger conference. You see that debate year in and year out, but the Oshawa Generals breaking through here, winning this series over the Erie Otters. Now, for the Memorial Cup, it was being held in Quebec City. So the Rampart, they were the hosts, and they were joined by the Rimouski Oceanic and the WHL champion Kelowna Rockets. This was the first Memorial Cup, actually, to feature 4 teams that have all won Memorial Cups in the past. So a little trivia question there for you. And this also served as a send-off for the Pepsi Colisée, as Quebec City was ready to open the new Videotron Center, as Quebec wanting to attract a National Hockey League team in the future. So they have a state-of-the-art facility, and that would replace the Colisée where the Quebec Rampart were playing. Now the Generals, they were perfect in the round robin at the Memorial Cup. They would go 3-0. And in the final, Anthony Cirelli, he would be the overtime hero to win the Memorial Cup for the Oshawa Generals in a 2-1 victory over the Kelowna Rockets. And this would be the 5th national title in franchise history. Just the history of the Oshawa Generals on full display here as they just continue to add to their championship collection. And Anthony Cirelli becoming a franchise favorite, we can say, with that clinching win for the Memorial Cup. Your award winners for 2014-2015. We'll start off with the Red Tilson Trophy. That would go to Connor McDavid of the Erie Otters, while Dylan Strome, he won the Eddie Powers Memorial Trophy. The Matt Layden would go to Sheldon Keefe for Coach of the Year. The Jim Mahan Memorial Trophy, Mitch Marner would win that from the London Knights, while Tony DeAngelo would win the Max Kaminsky Trophy as Defenseman of the Year. He split time between Sarnia and Sault Ste. Marie that year. The OHL Goaltender of the Year, Lucas Parasini of the Kingston Frontenacs. The Dave Pickney Trophy would go to Ken Appleby and Jeremy Brodeur of the Oshawa Generals. The Ems Family Award for Rookie of the Year, Alex DeBrincat of the Erie Otters. The Dan Snyder Memorial Trophy, Nick Paul of the North Bay Battalion. The Leo Lalonde Memorial Trophy, Joseph Blandisi of the Barrie Colts. The Bobby Smith Trophy went to Connor McDavid of the Erie Otters, while the Mickey Renaud Captain's Trophy, Max Domi of the London Knights. And the Wayne Gretzky 99 Award for Playoff MVP would go to Connor McDavid of the Erie Otters. So that's the 2014-2015 summary, as there's a lot of change coming into the following season with both Plymouth and Belleville relocating, 2 teams that have had quite a bit of history in the Ontario Hockey League, and they'll make their presence known in 2 new cities going forward. So again, thank you very much for your support. Don't forget to comment down below any of your favorite memories from the 2014-2015 season. And if you haven't clicked subscribe already, feel free to join this community as we continue to grow and talk about the OHL here in this corner of the internet. So again, thank you very much for all your support, and we'll talk to you again soon.